7 rays. Actually, there are 12 rays, but 7 rays that we have right now available to us. They correspond with our chakras. I'll just go quickly through them of what they are.
I'm sorry, what's the topic today?
First ray, divine will. Okay. So, the first ray is that of will and power. The second ray is love and wisdom. The third ray is active intelligence. The fourth ray is the energy of harmony. The fifth ray is concrete knowledge or science. The sixth ray, energy of devotion and idealism. And the seventh ray of ceremonial order. We're not going through them all. We're just going through the first ray. I think it's a very important ray. It's actually your crown chakra. No, the throat chakra, I'm sorry. And it's blue. So this ray is the willpower. It's a very difficult ray. It's manifested, we talk about it through Archangel Michael and Lady Faith. Also Master El Morya, which is the picture up there of the Kohans. And it's a very, very difficult ray. It comes from the plane of divinity. It also is a ray from the crown chakra, a ray of will, faith and power. And when you have a ray that has faith and power, it can easily be misused. Okay? It is the ray that brings us to the point where we can produce, we can create. And this ray we all have. What we create is the problem. Okay. So we all have this first ray of will. And we all have that ray of creation. It's a dynamic ray. And also, when you think about it, the mighty Hercules and his divine complement Amazonia are the Elohim of the first ray. They are the great builders in form, creators of manifestation for spirit. So you see these stories and you see all of these things that are supposed to think about. The energy of the first ray is extremely powerful. And it can be used for the good. What has happened because we have abused it, some of the energy of the first ray has been removed from our ability. Well, because we can't handle it. It's like fire. If you don't have it under control, it will destroy you. The same way the first ray can destroy us. Okay? The special virtues of that first ray, and I'll tell you those first. Always do the first one. Strength, courage, steadfastness, truthfulness, ability to rule oneself, and the ability to handle or lead people. It also carries qualities of protection, divine order, intuition, discrimination, perception, the will to do, clear vision, victory. Do you all have that, right? Okay. With other words, you all can handle that one, right? Well, this is what happens when the vices, pride, envy, ambition, willfulness, arrogance, desire to control others. You see how that all fits into the same energy field. Obstinacy, anger. So, and as with all the rays, and that's why I explain them, you always need to bring in the second ray. The second ray is divine, the Divine Mother. It's the love. So, and we have a tremendous amount of first ray energy in a negative manner that doesn't have that divine love brought in. And it's manifested in war, dominance, control over others, violence, love and compassion. It has to be tempered with love and compassion. If it is not tempered with love and compassion, it will go to the negative. It's as simple as that. And this goes for practically every ray, that you must have love and compassion of the second ray. Now, the reason I chose this is because if you can take that first ray, which means you can manifest, right? And you're capable of utilizing it in a responsible and compassionate way, then you can do or you can perform the divine blueprint that you came to do. And remember, I keep talking to you that each one of us came down here for something that we had to do. And if we don't feel that we have fulfilled our mission, the first thing people, what is the purpose of my life? How do I know? But that's what we're talking about, the purpose, because we all came here for a reason. We have a purpose. Now, we have many purposes, but there is and that usually doesn't happen until we get a little older and our children are raised, because we sidetrack with other purposes. We have a family, we have kids, we have a profession, all of those things, but you don't feel that fulfillment. And that when that fulfillment is not fed, that means you're not taking proper care of doing your purpose. So, the first ray, because it is so powerful, it brings forth, what we need to do, and this is why it's called of divine will. If you couple it with the love and compassion, then you can start working on the divine will. And the divine will for you is the purpose that you came to come. Because everybody comes with a purpose. And that purpose is always to serve humanity. In which field and which way is up to is individualistic, that I can't tell which one. But it's always to serve. Because that's what divine energy will do. It will serve humanity. And when you feel fulfilled, and when you are doing what you feel fulfilled, some people do it through art, some people do it through science, some people do it through architecture. It has a vast variety of things. It doesn't have to be something grandiose either. It can be something small. But you have to fulfill what is that deep inside. Unless you fulfill it, you will never feel totally satisfied or totally fulfilled or totally feeling that you have fulfilled your purpose and peace. I now touched on a word. Peace. That peace is so important. And that peace can only come when you utilize that first ray, with divine love and compassion, and you bring the two of them together and you start working in that direction. How do we start working in that direction? Well, we first have to get rid of all the junk that we have, yeah? We have to clean house. Yeah. How do we clean house? Well, like I said, the first ray is will, right? It's powerful. So you activate it and you say to yourself, I want to use it to move through situations where I feel powerless or stuck, where you need to set boundaries, where you need to display strength. When people put holds on us and we don't set boundaries, we feel what?
Stuck. Lost control.
Yeah, you feel as if you don't have control. You first must set your boundaries. But that has to be done with what? Love and compassion. Okay? You can only use the first ray if you couple it with love and compassion to be positive. Otherwise, it will turn against you and you will set your boundaries and make enemies. So in order to use the first ray, which is extremely powerful, you have to tone it down with love and compassion. Yes, I know, but you listen. It is proper to be actively assertive but not aggressive. It is properly for you to claim dominion over your destiny, to set boundaries and guidelines by being a warrior of light. Anytime you have negative feeling towards another human being, when you set your boundaries, you are not using love and compassion and the first ray of will. Are you listening to that? When you set boundaries, you have to do it from a place of love and compassion and willpower. If that is not there, that willpower that you're exerting all of a sudden will start eating you up with hatred, with feeling of negativity. The energy will come back to you of negativity. Whatever we project, remember this, whatever thought you have, whatever feeling you have, whatever action you have, goes out into the universe in a form of a what? An infinity sign. Do you know what that is? It's a figure 8. It's closed. It's not open. It doesn't go out and goes out. It goes out and comes right back. It's a boomerang. So whatever you project, whenever you use your willpower, and you don't have it with compassion and love, then it's going to come right back to you and nibble at you, just like fire comes back to you when it's not controlled. So I want you to really understand that we all have this willpower to a small degree. Most of it has been taken away because we can't handle it. But we all have this divine will, the first ray of divine will, and we all can utilize it, and we all have the ability to utilize it. But you must have that love and compassion. That is an absolute must. Otherwise, it will eat you up. It will nibble at you. Pac-Man. When I first saw Pac-Man, I go, oh, isn't that lovely? That's my subconscious mind going, eating at me. Okay? And how do we get to be in the perfect place for being able? Control over your mental and emotional bodies. Self-control. Yoga teaches self-control. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Perfect control over the mind waves. All of these things are so important. How do we get to the point where we can be used for divine will? Another way to do this is to ask for help. Because we think we can do things. We can. So, here's what we do. If you want to use divine will, and you don't have that love and compassion, or you don't, most of us don't, when we want to set boundaries, we don't usually have love and compassion to the whoever or whatever we want to set boundaries to. What we ask for help. When we ask for help, you can either do it through prayer, you can do it through asking the higher self, you can ask whatever deity you believe in, or if you don't believe in the deity, you can ask for your own higher self, your soul self, okay? Which is your I am presence that has that energy. And that is how we can start working with the divine, with this first ray of divine will. And it's a beautiful way. But know that you can get the divine will, but it must be, you always want to look at it. Does it hold love and compassion? We can create whatever you would like in life. You have the choice. You have the divine will. You have the first ray available to you. Will it always be the way it should be that you think? Not necessarily. So I just said you can create whatever you want, and then I said, no, not necessarily. Okay. Whatever I want might not be in the best interest for you. So if you're adding the prayer, guess what they're going to say? Hey, that's not good for you. Let's go in another direction. Okay. It has to be in alignment with moving towards your spiritual growth. It has to be in alignment with what you came to do on this planet. And what we think we came to do might not be what we really came to do. So when you start asking for divine interference, you have to give permission for that divinity in the prayer. That's what prayer is all about. Give permission for it to lead you in the right direction that will be beneficial for you. But here's the killer also. We also have things that we must go through karmically. But if I'm willing to use divine will, and I'm asking my higher self or God or the divine self to assist me in my divine will, and I'm going towards where I'm supposed to be going, towards my divine self, then my karmic consequences are lessened. The impact of the karma is smoother. I'm able to handle it more efficiently. I'm able to deal with it. And it's not devastating as most karma, most of the things are. You'll be able to handle it. And it will be minimized. And this is the beauty. This has never been this way because we're coming into this new world order. This is a true blessing that we have where we can reduce our karma consequences tremendously.
And by karma, you mean any kind of pain or suffering?
Karma Yeah, that negative karma. I'm talking about negative. Karma is prahapta karma. We have karma of all the things that we've done in previous lifetimes or in this lifetime, because whatever we do comes back, right? And whatever you do, you have to reap the consequences, be it good or bad. And I'm talking about the negative ones at this particular time. And the good ones you want to expand, of course.
How do you reduce them again? I didn't quite get it. Like,
Whatever you do has a consequence. That's the law of karma. Whatever we do, be it good, it has good things that come back to us. If I have a negative thought, that thought will come back to me. It will come back to me and it will create negativity. Most of the time, it will not only create negativity in my mind, it will create negativity in my cells. It will create negativity and create disease. It will create all of those things. It's not just a mind thing. Because remember, your cells and your mind are one.
And then how do we reduce it?
how do you reduce it?
Prayer.
Prayer.
Prayer and using your divine will to go towards your direction, towards your God self.
So when I'm doing things that are more like, and I say, oh, I want to do something, so, but if may it be in the best interest for myself and everybody, then it'll minimize that sort of influence that I'm putting out, like.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Does that make sense?
It is proper to assume your power by speaking your spiritual truth with integrity and also giving others the same right. You must give others the same right. But make no mistake, you will not be allowed to use this dynamic energy in a negative or destructive way. If you do, it will turn on you and destroy you. Finished. Okay. Got that?
Say that again, please. Sorry.
If you use the first ray of divine, that real willpower in a negative manner, it will come back to you to destroy you. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay?
Yeah.
And absolute. And it goes for you as an individual. It goes for us as a society. It goes for us as a nation. It goes for us as a global thing. It goes it's all that. And you can see how this willpower is constantly abused. We have wars. We have dominance. We have all of those. And if a nation has that, it will be destroyed. And we're seeing it right now. Okay? We don't have a choice. This is the law. The law of action and reaction is an infallible, it's an absolute law. You cannot go past it. And if you use your divine will for all of these, rather than for good, it's going to come back and bite you. It's as simple as that. And right now, we're seeing that as a nation. Okay? And everybody's seeing it in the whole world. But you do not have to be part of that. The true master, and here, unquote, Archangel Michael, a true master of the first ray walks softly, speaks his or her truth, is assertive but not aggressive, carries Archangel Michael's symbolic flaming sword of power and strength, tempered by love and compassion. In other words, you will be strong, but it's tempered by love and compassion.
So, do we see things that are just, maybe we want to change, but it's hard to influence. But as long as you're thinking of change as in a more positive way, then it won't be.
Whatever you do, whatever you want to do, love and compassion. With love and compassion, changes will happen, but be firm. Whatever you want to do, you must be firm, but it has to be done with love and compassion. So when you want to remove people or put boundaries around yourself, and when people have demands upon you that are not in the right direction, but it must be done with love and compassion. You need to free yourself in order to do what is your divine purpose. You need to free yourself for your divine purpose. And therefore, but you must do that with love and compassion. Yes.
What if you're doing it with love and compassion, but the other party somehow is like giving you back negative karma for what you're putting out as positive? And
What other people are doing has no effect upon you. How you perceive the other person doing has effect upon you. What they do, unless they physically hit you, that way you can feel it physically, but their mental cannot affect you. It's only what you perceive of them saying to you, only how you perceive it. So they can be yelling and saying horrible things about you. If you do not perceive it, it does not affect you.
so how do you block it?
You do not perceive it. You don't have to block it. You don't have to block it. Why do you have to block it?
Compassion is understanding where this came from. So with compassion and understanding, you try and understand the pain that person is going through, where that came from, what they were taught, what they learned, and what they're going through, and you let it go with love and compassion, I think. Sort of.
Yeah, sometimes
It's not easy, but
some
I think
people are
that's
not
the route.
predictable and they don't make any sense. So
Yeah, but why are you even thinking about it? Don't even bring it into your mind's eye. Why do you keep holding on to that? What you perceive, whatever a person does, only affects you as you perceive it, unless it's a physical effect.
So like if there's this person, I can't really be around them anymore. If, and then, but they're in my field. I have to work with them. So, what do? I just sort of don't worry about them. I just focus on my stuff.
Correct.
Okay.
And it's how you perceive them.
Right,
If you perceive them as being negative towards you, that's a problem. You might wish to perceive them as being within your energy field and very loving and kind.
So I can be more like, I feel maybe empathic towards them because I see they're suffering. A lot of times I see there may be like something about me, but actually it's sad I feel sad.
Correct. It is how you perceive.
Correct. Okay.
So if people are around, there are some people you have to let go, but in a workplace you don't have much of a choice.
Right.
And in that place you have to send them love energy.
Yeah, it was something
Thank you.
that was in a 12-step program. They said people that we can't really annoy us, get under our skin. We said we can be fair and honest with them. We don't have to engage them. We don't have to be emotionally involved with them. But just treat them with a certain fairness and justice. Hello, how you doing? And that's it. You don't get involved. That's what I try to do. Because if you know somebody's annoying me and then you want to engage them, then the problem is with you.
Well, some people, you have friends, you have family that are putting demands upon you, and there are sometimes you have to put your foot down and separate yourself from them. There are friends, you're yogis now. I'm sure you've left quite a few friends once you started yoga, yeah, especially the ones that go drinking and all of that. You left them behind somewhere to be on their own and be happy.
I think it's mostly about projection. So a lot of people put onto you what they're going through themselves, and so it's not. I do feel bad when people are like, oh, just snap out of it. can switch it by saying, you know, mirroring what is the pain that they're going through, and they're trying to throw that on me today. So kind of like you can block it, and that way it doesn't just come up out of nowhere. Your perception will change once you see their pain, their demands. What they're asking of you is probably something they can't give to themselves, and so it's easier to put it out onto you. So
Yes.
just thinking about projection.
Yeah.
Was easy for each
And
of me.
remember that everyone is a mirror for us.
Right, right, absolutely.
Right.
So,
when I see them-
so what are they mirroring that it's annoying you? It's probably right within you. And a nice way for you to take a look at yourself.
There's some people you just can't change. You just leave them.
Yeah, you leave them.
You just leave them. You don't want to change them. You just want to change you. I just want to change
But remember, if anybody annoys you, it's a mirror of what's inside of you. Unless you have, it's not annoyance, it's just that this is not where I want to be. That's a simple situation. I like the first ray of divine will because when there is another way of going about it. And this is my way. Okay. Just when you sit for prayer or meditation, you just quiet your mind and you go, okay, let me be a source of whatever you need. Let the divine will flow through me. So in meditation, that's all you would need to do. You see, we go about things in such a roundabout manner. This would put you right in the middle of it. Okay. One day, I was watching something with Oprah, and she's a firm believer in Jesus Christ. I know that, which is fine. And she says, and she had an interview with somebody, and I love this little statement that she made. She says, I say to the Lord, use me until I'm all used up. And that was a beautiful little statement. I don't watch TV often because if it's raining, I don't get it with a little antenna up there. But that was a beautiful statement. Use me until I'm all used up. Or allow me to be a servant of yours. With other words, you surrender. You surrender your will to divine will. Because our will is ego. And we have been programmed with serving society or serving the Lord. Serving society is serving the Lord. It's as simple as that. Because everything belongs to the Lord. Some people serve society, and many people serve it in different ways. Doesn't necessarily have to be serving people. It can be serving the plant kingdom or the animal kingdom or whatever. Whichever way it was for you designed to come here and serve. And that is really what everybody wants to do, believe it or not. You feel unfulfilled because you're not doing that. That is the key. So one simple way of being able to handle the first ray is to pray to be used. And get that ego out of that way, because you can't personally get the ego out of the way. Did you know that? We cannot move the ego. The ego has us by the throat. Tight. We need help to get the ego out. That help either comes from our higher self or from God or from a divine source. And it comes through prayers or whatever way you wish to because I'm not here in a religion, but it comes from a higher source. It comes from a different source. It is not from my will. I cannot remove the ego from my will. I need help for that. Because if I use me, I'm using the ego to remove the ego. Do you honestly think the ego is going to allow itself to be removed with my ego? Do you see the contradiction here? I'm using the ego to remove the ego. No, I have to have it help. Okay? And this is what the 12-step program is also about. The ego will not help you. The ego wants to control you. So if you're addicted, great. I've got control over you. So the ego cannot be used to remove the ego.
We have an abbreviation for ego, what it stands for. Easing God out.
What?
Easing God out.
Oh, okay. That's great.
It's a nice way to think about it.
Yeah.
When your ego pops up.
There are some people that are atheists, and they will ask for energy from the universe.
See? Right.
I don't care.
Right.
However you want to put it, if you don't believe in God, ask for energy from the universe. Finished. Same thing. We just give that energy a name called God. Is there a God? Has anybody seen God? I don't know. I've been trying my whole life. It doesn't work.
It's in a burning bush somewhere.
Do I see a manifestation of the Lord or that energy? Yes, I see it all over, everywhere. Okay? That energy is everywhere. And right now, beautiful things are happening with quantum physics and so forth. And they are now proving.
Speaking of physics, you're talking about the blue ray, and like a lot of times these gods are blue, and it's about how we see and perceive, and it's interesting because they say blue is the sky, it's the ocean, it's all these vast things, and I don't know what all that means, but maybe you do.
So what was the point?
And it's a physical reality, actually.
Okay.
And when you're more on that wavelength, you have better, deeper perception.
The point is at the tip of your
There is a continuity which we have always called consciousness. And scientists have been trying to figure out that consciousness. What is that consciousness? We call it consciousness. And they're now, not only did they split the atom and put it out here, and whatever this part is feeling, this one is feeling simultaneously. Okay? It's feeling it simultaneously. Now they've even put half of it up in space. And they can't understand that when whatever you do to this half, that one is feeling simultaneously up in space. We call it consciousness. There has to be a unified consciousness. And this unified consciousness is what they're doing now scientifically. Okay? So we're finally getting to the point where they're beginning to believe all the things we used to say.
The science and the spirituality have started to, what the yogis knew like thousands of years ago. They were talking about atoms. I was reading some of the old literature. They knew about this stuff thousands of years ago. What scientists are discovering today.
Yeah.
So what do you say? Nothing new under the sun. But
Yeah.
we're still finding
If you see, this is the thing. If you're on a regular way of meditation, and right now, unless you purify yourself and start working with the yums and niyams and so forth, your meditations are not going to be deep. But when you get into the point where your meditations get deep, then you open your sacred mind. And when you open your sacred mind, you have access to knowledge that is absolutely phenomenal. Because it's, again, I said sacred mind. And all knowledge exists in the universe. Like every thought you have, every feeling you have is on a wavelength. Did you know that? All thoughts are here. They're somewhere, but I don't see them, do I? Well, similarly, all knowledge is here. People are not getting that. Not everybody can tap into all that knowledge. And as you notice, as we get more advanced, we're allowed to tap into higher knowledge and more advanced knowledge. But not all knowledge is available to us. But we can tap into knowledge that is beyond our understanding through meditation. Like Einstein came up with the theory of relativity. That was meditation. He didn't come up because it was his mind thinking about it. He was meditating on it, and one day he woke up and he says, oh.
But you're saying concentration is a type of meditation, right? So if his mind was so focused for so long, he reaches a meditative state and he can access that knowledge. Is that how that works?
Correct. That works for you that way too.
Can you achieve to like secret mantras and like powerful secret mantras that some religions say they will teach you? Like for example, Tibetan Buddhism, they will teach you this secret mantra that only a few people will know. Would that help to put you into that wavelength?
What mantra or japa yoga, which every religion practice, is to control the mind. Your mind, you have so many thoughts that have in the back of your subconscious and unconscious mind from years and lifetimes. They're hanging out there. They're constantly out there in the subconscious and unconscious mind. Okay? We don't know what they are. And these seed mantras, we're talking about seed mantras, which is the highest of the mantra, like Om is a seed mantra. They're very short, very difficult for the mind to perceive that only. But the mantra is there so that the mind will fall into the mantra from constant repetition. It's like a jingle. You hear the people create jingles so that your mind will go automatically to the jingle if you hear it often enough. Same thing with a mantra. It's like a jingle. And if you say it often enough, when your mind is quiet or has nothing to do, it will do the mantra instead of going back to the subconscious mind. When it does that, what happens? Well, this is the beauty about this. What happens, it actually frees and clears the junk in the subconscious mind, because that is able to come out without you knowing, because every time we think about what's in the subconscious mind, we put it back in. Because remember?
Right.
So all that junk that's back there, and our mind is going a mile a minute, which is very fast, and creates all this junk in the mind. When the mind is idle, never says anything nice about you, guess what? It's coming right back in. So we're compounding it by not having control over the mind. We're making a compound of more stuff we're putting in there that we are not even aware of. I mean, I like to put in stuff that I might put in a mess, but at least I should be aware of it. And here we are, not aware. So mantra yoga is one of the best methods. And everybody has, malas or whatever, all of them, or rosary or whatever. It is very, very powerful. What you're talking about is a mantra should be only for you. The Buddhists do it, the Hindus do it, only that you don't discuss it with anybody else. That's your individual mantra. Why? So that nobody gives it a negative effect. That's the only reason. You're saying the Hail Mary and I'm going, oh, Mary? She wasn't any good. And then you say the Hail Mary and you're going, huh? Okay? That's why. So that it has no negative effect or is not spoken of negatively from anyone. It's not that it's a secret mantra. It's just that you should not have anyone giving their opinions about it.
There's that story about the little boy the guru says, I'm going to tell you this secret mantra And don't tell anybody. It's going to take you to enlightenment. Just make sure you don't tell anyone. So he's like, oh, thank you, thank you. And he runs to the top of the hill, and he starts going, I know the secret mantra. And he's screaming it out to everybody, and everybody, just say this over and over again. And the guru's like, why did you tell everybody? He's like, you're going to go to hell now. And he's like, well, I go to hell, but all they will get liberated. I don't know who that is, Beauty. I like that. Secret mantra.
So, the first ray you can only use in a small fraction because it is so powerful. Just like you use fire, you have to be very careful. It's a very powerful first ray. But the easiest way is to think about it as divine will, because it's called the first ray of divine will. And if you think about it as divine will rather than the first ray, okay? So think about whatever you wish to accomplish and think of it as divine will. Here's the key. That is the key I wanted to tell you today. Think about it as divine will. So whatever you want to accomplish, think about it as divine will. And therefore you will automatically ask your higher self to assist you with it. And it's the easiest way to get anything accomplished. If you're using your ego, you'll get it accomplished, but it will not be in divine will. And it will turn into negativity and to anger. It will turn into hatred. It will turn into all of those things because that's the first will, ray. So, because who has perfect love and compassion? Anybody over here? Raise your hand. No. It's impossible. It's impossible to have that. So that's why we need help. It's simple. It's so simple. Life is not as difficult as we make it if we ask for help from our divine self. And you're not necessarily asking God, you're asking your higher self, your I Am presence, to assist you, your guardian angels. Everybody has a guardian angels. Then you have guides. All of those are there to assist us. The only reason they're not assisting is because we haven't asked. Or the connection between the two hasn't been opened up enough. Okay? So with the asking, the divine will, by asking for divine will, then it automatically happens, and it's a lovely way. Does that mean your life will be smooth as silk? No way. Forget that. But will you be able to handle it better? Absolutely. Okay? Yeah. Will you be able to tolerate it? Absolutely. Will you not be? You will not be overcome with it. But you'll still have the ups and the downs, the positive, the negatives, and all of those are still there. It's not going to change that.
So
Yes, dear.
if I'm in the middle of like a work detailed list of everything I should be working on better and how I could do that, and I become very overwhelmed, if I say my mantra even at my desk, I'm pulling in divine will to help me just calm down, and then
Correct.
I see it piece by piece, and it's a lot.
Don't
less
ever
tense.
look at piece by piece. Just ask for help.
Just ask for help.
Don't even look at piece by piece. Remember, when you look at something, it goes what?
Alright. So first calm down, then look at it.
Don't even look at it.
Well, that's-
Don't look at all the virtues that you have to acquire. I did that. I looked at the Bhagavad Gita, and it has 2 pages of virtues of a self-realized soul.
and
Okay.
what happens?
And I go,
Close the book.
oh, shucks. I'll never get there. This is impossible. Absolutely impossible. if I took them one by one. 2 pages long. I would have had to incarnate 200 times. I mean, God, that was what I learned later was that if you're in the moment, which is meditation, you have all those virtues.
You already have them.
You have them. Because in the moment, if you're in the moment and you're not looking for the past, into the past, you're not looking for the future, you're just experiencing, the ego is being used rather than using you. And when that happens, you have all the virtues.
I think was it St. Francis prayer? Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. I always like that. It's just very simple.
Prayers are very powerful. Okay? And they're powerful for us as well. So just think about the first ray as divine will. Make me, give me strength, and let me just work for the divine will, whatever I'm doing. Okay? And that's the simple way. Piece of cake. What is your problem? Nothing to it. Just meditate and say, okay, use me until I'm all used up.
Until I'm toast.
Yeah. Okay, any questions?
We did it. 3 rates already? Oh, okay. I thought you said 3.
No, I'm only doing first ray.
Where does the 7 ray comes from? I missed last week. This is based on
7 colors of the spectrum.
this is chakra.
Yeah, the chakras. There are also 3 further rays. There are actually 12 rays. We're now activating 5 other rays. Those are the rays that we...
How do you define the array? It's a communication between you, one communication
It says 12, but
between God and you.
there's really 7.
They're rays of energy. I guess I'll have to give a whole... Yeah, bring the bananas. These need to be washed, I think. Yeah. They're rays of energy. These are the rays that we have right now on the planet. And then there are 5 more rays. There are 12 rays. And that's coming slowly.
Is this based on yoga sutra, or is this based on Archangel Michael's teaching?
Part of it, but the rays are all over. They're part of the... What else do you want? Okay.
Is this enough or you want more things?
No, that's good.
Yes, and based on chakra.
When we go through the chakras, we will go through the rays. Remember, we're going to have workshops on the chakras so that you will open them. But that's not free.
This is the first lecture on. This is your first lecture, right, on Divine Ray? You haven't covered this topic before, right?
No? Okay.
No,
Because I missed last week because I was...
no.
That's why we need them, all of them recorded.
I'll you home.
Sorry.
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Use the first ray to create heaven on earth. All right, come get your prasad. Here, you can give it a name and all of that nonsense.